Hello, my name is Dr. Shinaladi Jubelo. I'm the founder and CEO of Paris Picture Studios and Dr. Shinaladi Jubelo TV. Welcome again to this episode of Job IQ. I want to introduce to you, a sub-series of Job IQ that has to do with Japa. This is what I call the Japa series. We are going to be having a number of episodes, on this Japa series, of which this is the first. And each of the episodes discusses something interesting that can make your relocation out of Nigeria easy and seamless. Not only about the relocation, but also your life, wherever you find yourself, whether it is Europe or America, for instance. The important things that you have to do, the things that you have to watch for, and how your transition can be smooth. All right, so today I'm talking to you about making it big abroad. Making it big abroad. We know that you can make it in Nigeria. There is no place, no location that does not have the good, the bad, and the ugly side of it. There is a lot of blessings and wealth in our country, Nigeria. Okay? But then, relocation did not start today. Our forefathers have been really traveling from one place to the other, either in the pursuit of greener pastures or for adventurous purposes. But today, we are also, relocating or migrating for different, purposes, especially economic purposes. Japa did not start today, and it's not going to end during our time. While making your Japa plans, there are 5 fundamental things that I believe if you put into consideration, it can help you, to have a good life where you are going. So the first thing is don't forget who you are. Who you are entails a lot of things. Your dreams, your abilities, your aspirations, your pride and dignity. When you find yourself in another part of the world where you don't have families, people that know you, people who know where you come from, and all of that, there is a tendency, to think, oh, I have the freedom to express myself and do whatever I want, I feel like doing. Yes, it is your right to behave and act the way you like. But I want to tell you that do not forget yourself. Do not lose yourself in the course of, your Japa experience. In Nigeria, you are probably a prince or someone from a reputable family. You are bold, you are confident, you work hard, you are trying to make ends meet and take care of your family. Do not lose yourself when nobody is watching you. When you find yourself abroad, make sure that you uphold the dignity, the values, and the standard of where you are coming from, even as you integrate in another community. The second thing I would like to talk to you about is that you need to do your research. Every developed country has a structure, a solid structure. Because of this structure, there is always a learning path. It takes time to understand how things work in the new environment. For example, if you travel from Nigeria to US or the UK, the people that you meet there, if they start educating you on how things work over there, they can keep going on and on and on for days and weeks and months, and you will still have a lot to uncover. So every developed country that you find yourself, there is a lot that you need to know about it, about the place. So that is why you need to start your research, not after you have gotten to the place, but start doing your research from Nigeria. How do you do the research? Try to find people. Find the people who already have experience in that part of the world. And when you find people, please make sure that these people are trustworthy, they are reputable, they, be careful of who you speak to. Don't allow yourself to be scammed. Of course, you are asking for information. Watch out for pointers like when someone begin to ask you for money before they can do one thing or the other for you. There are open groups like Facebook groups and other online platforms where you can subscribe, join the group, and read a lot of discussions that others have made similar to what you will need to do when you get there. Recently, someone joined a Nigerian group, while traveling to another country. And this group facilitated how they got furniture into their apartment and some other things at an affordable rate. This is what would have taken them a lot of time and a lot of money. As part of your research, you need to find out groups that you can join in order to get a lot of help. There will be people willing to help you, people running the community, people who can give you pointers without stealing from you. But be careful, do not be scammed. If you are going as a student, there will be student bodies in the place you are going. Try to reach out to them, find out from the school you are joining, to know if they have a Nigerian student body within or association within the school. If they can link you up with one or two Nigerians, you might be able to find the help that you need. Another source of help is reputable churches within that environment. You might be able to find churches, where you can get some help in terms of how to rent an accommodation or how to, the first few things that you need to do to start integrating within the society. The next point I want to talk about is that you need to plan as much as possible. After you have gathered a lot of data on how to get an apartment or rent a house, school for your children, or more information on how to commute to school, and many other information, you need to sit down. Some of the information, some of them are relevant to you, some are not relevant to you. You know what is relevant to you. You can start putting everything together in form of a plan. And the earlier you make the plans, the better for you. Because in this environment, it's not always easy. I will tell you quickly, it's a personal story. I once traveled to a country, and when I was going, I found an apartment online, and I said, no, this apartment is 3 story. I don't want to take this apartment. I will look for something, better. So I just told my family, don't worry. When I get there, I will rent a hotel for some days. And within these few days, I should be able to find the house. One day became 1 week. 1 week became 3 weeks. 3 weeks became probably a month. I spent all the money I had in the hotel. I eventually had to get a quick tourist apartment, a short-let for a given period of time when I was exhausted from the hotel bills. These are things that you go through when you don't plan sufficiently well. Now you have successfully traveled out of Nigeria. You have found yourself in this land. You made your research, you planned, and your plans are beginning to work out. I'm sure one of the things that everybody have to do is that you have to rent a place to live. You have rented a place, you are living there, and one thing that you are going to find out very quickly is that rent is not cheap abroad. In Nigeria, our rent is relatively cheaper if depending on what part of the country and what part of your city you are living, You can get rent 200 and something thousand rent, a million naira per annum rent, or a few millions. But I tell you, when you get to most developed countries, their rent is not on annual basis because the rent is very high. In some places, you pay your rent per week. In some other places, you pay your rent per month. In some very rare occasions, due to lack of credit history, some landlords might require you to pay for 1 year of 4 months upfront. These are very rare occasions. Normally, you pay per week or per month. Why? The rent is high. You will be surprised that what you were paying in Nigeria as your annual rent may not even be enough to pay 1 month rent in different parts of in other countries. For example, United States, Canada, United Kingdom, or any other parts of Europe. Your annual rent in Nigeria suddenly turns to your monthly rent in another part of the world. Rent is not cheap. Take for a second to calculate. Let's say you are paying £1,000 as your rent in the United Kingdom. Over 12 months, that will be £12,000. Over 10 years, that could be £120,000. You know the exchange rate in Nigeria, you can do the calculation. So what usually happens is that when you travel out of the country and you start working, once you make the mistake of telling your family back home, they have good intentions for you. The next advice is, brother, sister, you need to get a land. So you want to buy a land and start building in Nigeria while you are a tenant wherever you are living. That means you are going to pay rent for a very long time. Rather than building in Nigeria where you are not going to live, you should start thinking of how to own a property, whether an apartment or a house in the country you are living. They have a system that might allow you, depending on your age, to pay for your house over a period of 20 to 30 years. This is why I usually tell people, if you want to Japa, the best time to Japa is your 20s. The next best time may be your 30s. If you're over 40, it's a different kettle of fish. Because when you are getting mortgage, they have to check how many more years do you have to work. So if you have 20 or 30 more years to work, you can, amortize the cost of getting the house can be amortized over 20 to 30 years. Don't forget, you will still have to make some deposits. They may, depending on the who you are dealing with, you may have to deposit 10% of the cost of the house or 30%, between 10 and 30%. So that means if you are renting today, you have to start saving. But if you have spent all the money on a building project in Nigeria, you may find it hard, to get your own property as quickly as possible. Don't forget, owning your property helps preserve your wealth, because you might say, oh, I make £3,000 a month and I pay 1,000 on my rent. I still have enough money to live and do other things. Be careful. Over time, you don't want to keep working for your landlord. You want to own something. The next point I want to mention is that after you have successfully built a career and a home abroad, don't forget your home in Nigeria. Don't forget Nigeria. Nigeria is our country, and Nigeria is going to get better someday, especially if you have plans of retiring. Some people have the Japa plans to stay, while some people have Japa plans to come back to Nigeria when they become senior citizens. If you fall into either of these categories, it still makes sense to build in Nigeria. Number one is an investment into the country. Number two is still part of the ways by which you can preserve your wealth, because the cost of your property is going to increase over time. All right. But then when you are building, don't fall into the trap of building to make a statement. You know, your mates are now building duplexes, mighty mansions, and you want to show that you are now well to do. Please don't fall into that trap. Build something that can take care of itself. If you build a mansion, make sure your mansion has many apartments so that different people or families can rent within this building. Hence, the building can take care of itself, maintain itself over time. Don't build in Nigeria and keep investing money to get someone to clean the property or to watch over the property. Make sure you build something that you can rent out and earn some money. As a matter of fact, you might be able to take care of other expenses in Nigeria from the rent you are making. Lastly, I would like to tell you that this is just the beginning of our Japa series. I'm going to be making 4 other videos to tell you important things about Japa. Japa has become so expensive that people sell their houses, properties, and what have you. You don't have to sell your house. You don't have to sell your property. There are Japa options that are affordable or more affordable. Some of the videos that I'm going to be producing after this will give you details or affordable ways or means by which you can Japa and still have a successful life abroad. Thank you for watching this episode. If you have not liked this video, make sure you like, drop your feedback in the comment section, and subscribe to this channel so you can get notified when we have new videos. Till we meet again, keep learning, keep shining. Thank you.